What's up with the what's up? It's LaDria LaVae and welcome to my channel. Now for this tutorial, I'm giving you my gypsy top, a little flared sleeve, a little details, a little neckline, okay? Now in this tutorial, I also show swatches of different kind of yarns and how this pattern would look, and you know I got you covered. Don't forget to check the description below for all the details. You know you can always add a little drama and customize it. The stitches you need to know for this project is only single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. And let's get into the tutorial. Y'all keep playing. Y'all play too much. We gotta go. Okay, so boom. This is the top we'll be making in this tutorial. I use Patons Grace mercerized cotton yarn. I leave everything in the description below. A 3.5 hook. And some measurement tape, some scissors, and a tapestry needle. So in the comments, a lot of people say, well, ask, oh, can I make this top in this yarn or this bottom in that yarn? So I did some swatches for y'all of different kind of yarns so you can see how I look. You know, I got you covered. Woo. So boom, a lot of people always ask me about weight for yarn because it's super easy to get to and comes in a lot of colors. So this is impeccable yarn in a weight 4. I use a 3.5 milliliter hook with this. It's very thick, quite thick, and you can use this to make this probably as a tunic. I would suggest as a beach cover-up dress or something like that. You know, get a little cold on the beach or cold in your house because we're in quarantine, you know. Here's another swatch. I really love how this feels. This is a weight 3 yarn and it's 100% acrylic. The other one was 100% acrylic too. And I got this with Paintbox yarn. Just brighten the screen a little just so you can see how it is. This weight 3 acrylic yarn definitely has some stretch to it and it could work. It definitely could work. So this is Cotton Fair or Premier Cotton. I'll put it on the screen. It's 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. It have a little stretch to it. Definitely have a little stretch to it. I suggest this yarn as well. I believe it's a size 2. I'll put it on the screen and I'll also list it below. This is done with some thread. I think it's beautiful. It's the Aunt Linda, Lydia, LaQuana. It's from Michaels. I'll list it on the screen and below as well. It's a size 1 yarn and I use a 3.5 milliliter hook. You know the hook I'm talking about, 3.5. And I think this is a great option as well. So this is the Patons Grace yarn that I'm using in the tutorial, but this is like in a sky blue color. It definitely have a lot of stretch to it. So I definitely suggest to size down and really stretch your yarn when we start with our starting chain. And I'll list everything in the video, how to get this chain and everything you need to know will be in this video and in the description below. So this is another yarn that works. So I highly suggest either 4 of these. The weight 3 acrylic, the 50% cotton, 50% acrylic, the Patons Grace yarn, and the thread. I really love the thread. I'm actually gonna recreate the top with this thread. It's so pretty, so dainty to me. So any of these will work. So real quick, with this top, we'll be making 2 panels and working our sleeves in the round. Okay, so let's get it popping. Okay, so now that's out the way, let's get started. We're gonna work on the first panel. We're working from the bottom all the way to the top till we shape the neckline. Now, you want to measure from one side of your rib cage to the other, slightly stretch to that measurement. So for me, I got 18 inches, so I did a chain of 78. Now, you want to make sure that your chain is a multiple of 6 plus 3. So I did my 78 plus 3. So on the screen, I listed some suggested chains that you can use, but I gave you the measurement so you could do a super customizable fit. Now, if you're using the yarns I suggested, these chains will work. So I'm making a small medium and I'm doing a chain of 78 plus 3. The kind of yarn you're using will determine how many chains you need. So now that I have my multiple of 6, which I decided to do 78, I'm going to chain up 3 and single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and I'm gonna single crochet all the way down. Now after the first row of single crochet, you could do any stitch you like for the border. So I'm just gonna do 5 rows of single crochet. So I'm just single crochet all the way down, chain up 1 for my turning chain, and single crochet back. And I'm gonna do that for a total of 5 rows. And I'll be back when I'm done with my 5 rows. So I have my border of single crochet for 5 rows. And now we're gonna work on the lacy shell stitch, which is simply a 1 row repeat. So we're gonna chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, turn our work, and now we're gonna count the first 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna skip those and go into the 4th stitch with 3 double crochets. Now chain 2 and place 3 double crochets in that same exact stitch we just went into. I'm filming. That's rude. Now we're gonna skip 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go into the 6th stitch with 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So I did my 3, chain 2, going to do 3 more. I'm gonna skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do the same exact thing. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that 6th stitch. So 3 more in that same stitch. And this is how it looks. So you're just gonna skip 5 and go into the next, that 6th stitch with 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochets, skip 5, go into that 6th, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Repeat that all the way down till you have 4 stitches left at the end, and I'll be back when I have my 4 stitches left. So just repeat what's on the screen. So I'm down to my last 4 stitches. Now if you did the multiple of 6 plus 3, you should have 4 stitches left. If you did mess up or anything, you have 3 stitches left or 5 stitches left, just go into the last stitch with a double crochet. What really matters is you have the same amount for your next panel, because the next row we're just working on the top chains. So I'm placing 1 double crochet in that last stitch. Now we're going to chain up 3, turn our work, and we're going to work in those chain 2 spaces. So go right into that first chain 2 space with 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Now skip those 3. We're just working in the chain 2 space, going to the next chain 2 space with the same exact thing. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And that's really it for the repetition of the row. Now I'm going to continue this row till I have a total of 20 rows. And you want to continue this until you get to a couple of inches under your arm so you can have room for your sleeve. And I'll just insert a clip on where you should measure to. Now you know I like me a good little crop toppy, you know, just a little cute top or whatever. So mine's measure 11 inches to where I'm stopping my 20 rows. Now if you want your top longer, just do more rows. That's all it is to it. It's super simple, and I think this stitch could go with plenty of other designs. So I'm gonna continue doing my 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and each chain 2 space down until I get to that previous double crochet we did in the last row, and we're gonna place 1 double crochet right on top of that. So I'll be back when I get there. Okay, so this is how it look. I just finished that last shell. Now we're gonna place 1 double crochet on top of that last double crochet that we did from the previous row. So just go right into the top of that. You're gonna chain up 3 and repeat this row for the length you need to go right before under your arm. I'm gonna complete my 20 rows and I'll be right back so we can move into the top part. So here are my 20 rows, so cute. Now we're gonna shape the neckline. Just chain up 3, and I'm going to go into the first 3 shells with the 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Now I have a very off the shoulder top. If you want it a bit more on the shoulder, you're going to go into 4 shells that I show in the right hand corner. So once you're going into either your 3 shells or your 4 shells, you're going to place 1 double crochet in the last double crochet of the shell right under. You can see right there that 1 double crochet in the last double crochet of that shell. That's basically going to be like our chain 3 in a way. So that's exactly how it looks. So place 1 double crochet right there, chain up 3. And now we're going to just work this row back and forth. You could do this for however long you want. It really depends on how low you want your neckline. Like, do you want a low or high? So I'm going to do this for a total of 8 rows. I'm going to do 7 more. So you just turn your work. And we're going to do just how we did our previous rows. I chain my 3, go into the first shell in that chain 2 space with 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So now I went into my 3 shells and I'm just placing 1 double crochet in the last double crochet from the previous row. Exactly how we did with the body part of the panel. So now I'm going to continue this for a total of 8 rows. Okay, I'm back. So I finished my total of 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to do the same on the other side. So for your first panel, when you're done with whatever edges you do, I chained up 1. And now I'm going to cut a long tail so we could use that to sew the panels together. And I'm going to pull through and just leave that. Now we're going to attach our yarn in that double crochet or chain 3 space, however you want to call it. Don't spoil it. So I'm going to reattach my yarn. And I'm gonna go right into that chain 3 space or double crochet just right there. Pull through. So I'm gonna chain up my 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna turn my work and work into those 3 shells like how we did before. So I'm gonna go into 1, 2, 3 and place in 1 double crochet in that last double crochet of that shell. And now I'm gonna place that 1 double crochet in that last double crochet of the previous shell. I'm gonna chain up 3, turn my work, and we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did in the previous side. So that will be my first row, and I'm gonna do 7 more. Placing 1 double crochet in that chain 3 on top of that chain 3 area, and then chain up 3 and just repeat. So I finished my 8 over here. So after that double crochet into that chain, chain up 1, cut a long tail. You only need to do this with one of your panels and pull through, and we'll use that to weave in the other shoulder part. And now we're going to work on the side. So for your armhole, so you want to measure from the top of your top where the seam is, the shoulder seam, down for your armhole depth. So since I'm doing a small medium, I'm measuring around 7 inches. I put on the screen for each side how many inches to measure down. So once I found that 7-inch measurement, I just counted from the bottom what row that was, and that was my 16th row. So once I got to my 16th row, I just pulled up a little loop. Grab your stitch markers so you know exactly what row you're going to be starting with. Now once you put your stitch marker on that side, then go ahead and place a stitch marker on the opposite side. So I'm going right to my 16th row on the opposite side and pulling up a loop. But make sure you grab stitch markers or whatever you need to make sure you got the right row. So I'm just double checking to make sure it is 7 inches, and it is. So I'm just going to attach my yarn right there in that 16th row. Now, of course, if you did more rows or less rows, your number is going to be different from mine. But as long as you measure from the seam, your armhole depth that I posted on the screen. So I'm just going to attach my yarn into the little loop that I pulled up right on the side, going into that 16th row. Just attach your yarn to wherever row that you did and chain up 2. Now we're going to work on our side. So now we're working on the side. I'm going to do half double crochet, 4 rows of half double crochet. I'm going to place in each chain space half double crochets. When we get down to whatever border you did, just place 1 half double crochet in each row. So I'm doing a total of 48 half double crochets. Now working on the side, we're going to place 2 half double crochets in that chain space, and now we're going to place 1 half double crochet where the shell meets, right in that hole right there. So continue that pattern going down. Place 2 half double crochets in that chain and 1 half double crochet where that shell meets that 1 double crochet right there. So I'm just going to continue this down till I get to the border and I meet you there. So I am down to the border where I did 5 rows of single crochet. I'm just going to put 5 half double crochets along the side, basically as if I'm going into each row, and you do the same with your border. So I have a total of 48 half double crochets. I'm going to chain up 2, turn my work, half double crochet in the first stitch, and all the way down. And I'm gonna do this for a total of 4 rows. Just repeat what's on the screen. You chain up 2, half double crochet back down, chain up 2, half double crochet back down. So I finished my 4 rows of half double crochet, and that actually measures 1 inch. So just double check in, and now I'm gonna chain up 1 and cut a long tail. Remember, we're leaving the tail on one of our panels, so we could just use that to sew the other panel together. You get what I'm saying? And just pull that through. Now you're gonna do the same exact thing on the other side. So this is how it's looking so far. All this extra yarn is what we're using to sew on the other panel, so we don't have to attach yarn, you know, conserving. And now I'm just going to my 16th row, like how I did on the opposite side. I'm going to attach my yarn and do the same exact thing. I had 48 half double crochets on that side, so I have 48 on this side. So just attaching my yarn, chaining up 2, and going to place 2 half double crochets in that chain space and that 1 half double crochet at the edge of that shell. So 2, boom, and then right in that hole right there, exactly how we did on the other side. Just make sure when you're going down that you have the same number that you have on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and go all the way down and finish it, and when I'm done with all my rows, I'll be right back. I finished my 4 rows of half double crochet, and just like the other side, for this one panel you're going to leave the tails. So just chain up 1, pull the tail through, boom, and there you go for the first panel. And this is how we looking. Super cute, super easy, a little crop top, you know, my voice. And now just go ahead and make 1 more of those panels. And I'll be right here when you get back, baby. Boom. So I finished both of my panels, which came out great. Now you want to put your panels on top of each other, and we're going to seam up the shoulder seam and the side. Now I use the mattress stitch because look how flawless this is, and this is the wrong side. This is the wrong side up here as well, and then turn it around. I think it just falls so nicely. Now, if you're not comfortable using a mattress stitch, you could do a slip stitch as well. Oh, but I'm gonna show you how to do the mattress stitch because I really believe it falls really nice, and I'll leave a link below for a video on how to do the mattress stitch, but I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so boom, you want to line up those 3 or 4 shells you have. So after you line up your 3 shells or your 4 shells that you have, you're gonna get your tapestry needle, put the long tail through it, and now we're gonna work on mattress stitch. So you go right through the corner on top of that chain. Now we're gonna go inside and go right under the stitch right here on the side facing you. Go right under, pull through, and go under with the next stitch, pull through, going under, Again, you pull through, and that's simply how you do the mattress stitch. You're going inside, so kind of like, you know, lacing up a shoe or a corset. And you just want to line up each stitch and work your way down. Now when you get to the chain, just go through the chain and then go through the other chain as if it's a stitch. So keep going and make sure your stitches line up. So the chain 2 space with the chain 2 space, that's the easiest way for me to make sure it's lined up. And I'm gonna keep going and I'll meet you when I'm at the end. So this is how it came out. Like I said, this is the wrong side. So the other side is like this, nice and clean. So we're just gonna move on to the side where we did the half double crochets. And we're doing the same exact process with the mattress stitch. So take the side with the long tail, weave it through your needle, and exactly how we did for the top seams. And we're going right in the corner just to secure the corners. I'm going to match up each stitch. So I'm going under the first stitch and going on the inside and under the second stitch. And I'm going to do that all the way down to the end. So just continue doing your seam however you chose to do it, either a slip stitch or this stitch that I'm doing right now. And I'll meet you when I get down to the end. So I just finished the seam at the end. Keep in mind, this is the inside, the wrong side, and it looks good. And this is the right side. Tell me that don't look good. Tell me it don't. It look good. Okay, so right now, you kind of have like a little tank going on. So go ahead, try it on. You can just see how it fit. And then we're gonna move on to the sleeve. Okay, so still working on the wrong side of the garment. You wanna go in between the seam where we have the 4 half double crochets and attach your yarn right in between where we seam the 2 panels together. So grab your yarn and attach. So just go in between there. And chain up 2. Now work 4 half double crochets along the other 4 half double crochets we have right here. So let me zoom in. So I'm just place 4 half. It don't have to be perfect, just as long as you have your 4. So you want to place that kind of evenly across and one in the end. And we're going to be placing 2 half double crochets in each chain space. So the total number I have around my armhole is 60. You want to make sure you have a multiple of 6, not the 6 plus 3, just a multiple of 6 with your half double crochets around your armhole. It's no specific number with this. Everyone's could be different depending on how many rows they did for their top. But I got a total of 60 half double crochets. So I'm just gonna go and place 1 half double crochet right here. So I have 4, I'm gonna just do 5 and then 2 in each chain space and 4.5 double crochet rows here. So I'll meet you before I get to the 4. So just place 2 half double crochets in each chain space around the armhole. Keep in mind you want a number that's a multiple of 6. So just 2 in that chain space. And I'll meet you before I get to the 4 half double crochets right here. So I'm approaching the 4 double crochets. I'm gonna just put 1 right here in this little chain. And do my 4 half double crochets. And I'm gonna just put 1 right in the middle, making my total 60. And I'm gonna slip stitch in that beginning chain 2, just the top chain. So we have our multiple of 6 that allow us to do our shell stitch. So we chain up 3, and like how we did in the beginning, we skip 3 and place 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Now we're gonna skip 5. And in the next, in that 6th stitch, another 3 double crochets. Chain 2, 3 double crochets. And repeat, we're gonna skip 5. And then that 6, another shell. Chain 2, 3 double crochets. And then skip 5, and then that 6, the same stitch. So you're gonna repeat that all the way around till you back to that chain 3 space, and I'll meet you there. I end up getting a total of 10 shells all the way around. So I'll meet you when I'm at my chain 3 space. So I have 3 stitches left. You're gonna skip those 3 and slip stitch in the top chain of the chain 3 space. Chain up 3, and we're gonna do exactly what we did in the panels. You just go into that chain 2 space with 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and you're gonna repeat this all the way around till you get to the chain 3 space, and you just slip stitch in that chain 3 space in that top chain. Now I do this for a total of 20 rows, which measured 12 inches. Went a little past my elbow before I started increasing for the flare. So I'll get back to you when I'm done with my total of 20 rows. Now you can just do this as a short sleeve or start with the flare, which you could fast forward to when we started increasing, so you could do a flare sleeve from the get. There's so many things you can do with this. So I'll be back when I'm done with my 20 rows of shell stitches. So I finished my 20 rows and now we're gonna start increasing for our slight flare. And how you do that, simply after you chain up 3, you're gonna do 4 double crochets, chain 3, 4 double crochets. So we're gonna do this for 2 rows. Four double crochet, chain 3, 4 double crochets. And you'll slip stitch right in that chain 3 space like how we've been doing. So continue this for 2 rows. So this is my first row. I'm gonna finish this and repeat this row one more time. And I'll be back when I'm done with my 2 rows of the 4 double crochet, chain 3, 4 double crochets. So I finished my 2 rows of the 4 double crochet, chain 3, 4 double crochet, and you see it's slightly flaring out. Now for the next 2 rows, we're simply going to do 5 double crochets, chain 3, 5 double crochets. So just place your 5 double crochets right in that chain space like we've been doing. You know you got this. You know. 4, and then 5, chain your 3, and another 5. So repeat this step all the way around, slip stitch in that chain 3 space like we've been doing, and do that for a total of 2 more rows. So this will be my first row, and I'm gonna do 1 more. And don't forget to slip stitch in that 3rd chain of the chain 3 space. So I'm gonna complete this for my 2 rows and I'll be back. Boom, so I finished my 2 rows with the 5 double crochet, chain 3, 5 double crochet, and yes, you guessed it, we're gonna move on to 6 double crochets, chain 4, 6 double crochets, and we're gonna do that for 2 rows. So just place your 6 double crochets in that chain space, chain 4, and then another 6 double crochets. So that's how that look, and I'm gonna repeat this all the way around. Slip stitch in the chain 3 space. You already know, and then repeat for 1 more row. So repeat this for a total of 2 rows, and I'll be back for the next increase. So after the 6 double crochet row, you do 3 rows of 7 double crochet, chain 4, 7 double crochet. So I already did 2 of those 3 rows, and I'll just show you how it is, exactly how we did the other rows. You chain up that 3, place 7 double crochets, chain up 4, and then 7 more double crochets. So just continue for your 3 rows. So this will be my 3rd row, and when I'm done, I'll be right back. Okay? Okay. So after those 3 rows with the 7 double crochet, you're gonna do 2 rows of 8 double crochet, chain 4, 8 double crochet. So I already did 1 row of that, and this will be my last row. So you just place your 8, chain 4, and then another 8, and just continue that all the way around, slip stitching in the chain 3 space. So this is going to be my last row, but of course you can continue this as long as you want. So I'm going to finish this up. After you slip stitch in that chain 3, just chain up 1, cut your yarn, and pull through and weave that in. So once you're done with one sleeve, go ahead and do your second sleeve following the same steps. Working on the inside of the garment, you just attach your yarn at the seam and work your rounds. And you could just go back and see how we did the sleeve. You do it the same exact way. So once you're done with both sleeves, you should have something similar to this. It looks so expensive. Now you can leave this as is. It's very pretty no matter what, but you can also add a border and just attach your yarn to the seam of any side of the shoulder. So attach your yarn right at the seam of the shoulder, and I'm gonna place 2 half double crochets in each chain space along this portion. So I'm just gonna place 2 half double crochets, but first chain up 2 half double crochets in each chain space. Just going over the tail so I don't have to weave that in. And I'm gonna go into this little space right here before we hit the shell straight across. And I'm gonna just go in each stitch with a half double crochet and placing 2 half double crochets in the chain 2 space. So 1, 2, and just half double crochet along. So that's all I'm doing, half double crocheting along the edge just to have a little finished border. You could do 1 row, 2 row, 5 rows. It's really up to you. This step is super optional. So I'm going to continue along till I get to that chain 2 space. So I'm back to that chain 2 space we started with, where we attached our yarn, and I'm just going to slip stitch in that chain 2 on, well, the top stitch of that chain 2, chain up my 1, and cut my yarn. I'm just gonna do 1 row for the border because your girl only got like 3 inches of yarn left, but you know, I'ma weave this in. So go ahead, turn it on the right side, try it on, take your pictures, you know, drink your orange juice in a wine glass, and do what you gotta do in the house. So I can't wait to probably try this in different colors. There's so many things you can do with this. You could make the sleeve super duper long, drag it out, you know, add the drama, okay? You can make it longer, you can make it into a dress. So many things. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment below what you're doing at the time. Are you making anything? Are you creating a business? Like, what's up? Talk to me. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I will be back active very, very soon. And with love always. I love you guys. Stay home, stay safe, and stay in high spirits. With peace and love, LaDria LaVae out.